So at this point, we're going to talk a little bit more about traffic calming and kind of get more into the specifics, and I'll turn it over to Steve.
Oh, thanks, Laura. So my name is Steve Horstman. I'm with Traffic Engineering. And I just want to provide a little bit more information about submitting a grant application for traffic calming improvements. We have a couple of examples on the next couple slides. Laura, if you could go to the next slide. So here we have a couple of speed cushions and a median. Speed cushions tend to provide the most benefit for the cost and tend to be the most often used. Medians, we install in the middle of the street to narrow the travel lanes, and it generally causes drivers to slow down as they pass through there. This can become quite not as effective if there's shoulders or bike lanes. If we go to the next slide, there's a couple of traffic circles here and a median. Traffic circles vary in size. They are always located within an intersection, and we size them so that we deflect the path of vehicles traveling through the intersection, but at the same time still allowing emergency vehicles access through the intersection. Most of the pictures that you've seen have had landscaping, and we do require with these grant projects that they be native plants that can survive without irrigation after they're established. The city will not be responsible for maintaining any of the landscaping in these new traffic calming devices. The city will, though, we will install the permanent signs that you see here on the approaches and within the devices. We'll paint the curbs, we'll install pavement markings to warn drivers in advance and to make the devices a little bit more visible. Next slide. So any changes in the public right-of-way must be reviewed and approved by the Engineering and Transportation Division. And so the first step is to contact traffic engineering staff. Next slide. This is a quick overview of the process. So you would set up your initial meeting with traffic engineering staff, most likely me. We'll discuss the issues in the neighborhood. After the meeting, I might order traffic data. I'll probably go out, actually, we'll order the traffic data, and then the applicant will organize a neighborhood meeting, probably online, to explain the project to the neighbors, to gather input from other residents, and also to work on collecting the required level of approval from the residents. And then the final step would be to receive bids for the design or the work. These bids have to be reviewed and approved prior to turning in the grant. And the next slide. So with that next step, the first step would be meeting with me. We would discuss the issues out there, and then, as I mentioned on the earlier slide, we might collect traffic data. This might be traffic volumes, speeds. If part of the problem is cut through traffic, we might do an origin destination study just to see who's entering and who's exiting the neighborhood in a short amount of time to get an idea of cut through. We'll also look at the street to look at speed limits, the existing utilities out there, number of lanes, whether there's a center lane or bike lanes, traffic crash history, and other things like that. If devices other than speed cushions are proposed, I can try to help identify a design professional who can prepare plans for the work. Next page. So devices that will require a plan designed by a registered professional engineer would include speed tables, traffic circles, medians, chicanes, or planters. Speed cushions are really the only exception. The city does have standard detail and specifications for the speed cushions, and I can help prepare a map showing the locations and the spacing of the speed cushions, so there wouldn't be an additional design step required. All traffic calming devices must be constructed by a contractor who has the proper license and insurance to work within the public right-of-way. And then if you do have to take that initial step of design, The cost of that design may prohibit construction during the same grant cycle, and you may need to wait till a later grant cycle, but we can discuss that in our meeting. Next slide. So I think, Laura, were you going to take back over?
Yeah, I'll take it from here. Thanks, Steve.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so this kind of will summarize a little bit, give you another visual of exactly how this will all come down. So you've done the first step, you've attended this workshop. The next step will be for you to contact Neighborhood Services, our office, and Traffic Engineering to discuss what it is you are looking to. What you need to really focus on at this point is what is the problem you're trying to solve.